जी, start. Ready? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين يكتمون ما أنزلنا من البينات والهدى من بعد ما بيناه للناس في الكتاب أولئك يلعنهم الله ويلعنهم اللاعنون. We are reading verse number 159 of Surah Baqarah, second juz, third ruku'. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, indeed, those who conceal what we have sent down from among the evidences and the guidance after we have expounded it to mankind in the book, they are the very ones cursed by Allah and cursed by the curses. إلا الذين تابوا وأصلحوا وبينوا فأولئك أتوب عليهم وأنا التواب الرحيم. Except for those who repent and who make amends and who explain and make known the truth, those are the very ones towards whom I relent, and I am most relenting, most merciful. إن الذين كفروا وماتوا وهم كفار أولئك عليهم لعنة الله والملائكة والناس أجمعين. Surely those who disbelieve and die whilst they are disbelievers, then it is they on whom shall be the curse of Allah and angels and all of mankind. Khalidina fiha, they shall be abiders in it. La yukhaffafu anhumul azab, azab and punishment will not be lightened upon them. وَلَا هُمْ يُنظَرُونَ, nor shall they be respited. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَكْتُمُونَ مَا أَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْبَيِّنَاتِ وَالْهُدَى. There are a few things we need to understand over here. First of all, the rabt and the connection of this verse with the previous verses. In the previous verses, we read at the end of the first ruku, الَّذِينَ آتَيْنَاهُمُ الْكِتَابَ يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُمْ وَإِنَّ فَرِيقًا مِّنْهُمْ لَيَكْتُمُونَ الْحَقَّ وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكَ فَلَا تَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْمُمْتَرِينَ. Allah said that those to whom we have given the book, in this case the Yahud, they know this prophet just as they would know their own son. However, in spite of this concrete and firm knowledge, they hide the truth whilst that they know what they are doing, willingly, deliberately hiding the truth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is returning to that verse over here and mentioning some wa'id and warning for such people who conceal the truth. They know Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is true. They know whatever we have said about Ibrahim alayhi salam, building Kaaba Sharif, making dua for the last and final prophet, and his millat Ibrahim being the one chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, himself declaring, I am Muslim, submissive to Allah. They know the other prophets and their messages قولوا آمنا بالله وما أنزل إلينا وما أنزل إلى إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط وما أوتي موسى وعيسى. They know all this. And in spite of that, they differentiate, discriminate between the prophets, believe in some and reject others. In fact, they know everything about Qibla. That when the last prophet comes, he will face Baytul Maqdis for some time, and the Qibla will be changed, and he will face Makkah Mukarramah. They know this as well. This is also written in their scriptures. And then the detailed description of the final prophet, to the extent that his name is written in their book as well. But they hide it. This is yaktumuna ma anzalna, la yaktumuna al-haqqa wa hum ya'lamun, which was mentioned before. So all these mazameen which came up to now, and in spite of their knowledge, their abuse, their insults, their hurts, Allah said, Ista'inu bis sabri was salah. Do sabr. Do sabr. Seek help with sabr and salat. Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. So, after mentioning these, Allah concluded the Binaya Kaaba with Safa Marwa by Inna Safa wal Marwata min Sha'airillah, the tafsir of which we read in the last lesson. That Kaaba Sharif was constructed so that وَطَهِّرْ بَيْتِيَ لِلطَّائِفِينَ وَالْعَاكِفِينَ وَالرُّكَّعِ السُّجُودِ. People will come and do tawaf over here, so keep it clean. And people will do i'tikaf over here, people will go in ruku sujood over here, so keep it clean. Allah mentioned about Kaaba, then he mentioned about Safa Marwa. So Safa Marwa, the was the conclusion of the rites and rituals of Umrah and Hajj. And now Allah is returning to that point which was mentioned in the middle about Kitmanul Haq. And Allah is saying, Innal ladhina yaktumuna ma anzalna min al-bayyinati wal huda. Those who conceal and hide and put down what we have revealed with regards to bayyinat and huda, manifest and clear proofs and dalail, and huda, guidance, which is a source of guidance to others. Meaning, if they reveal that, then the others will be guided to this prophet, they will believe in him, and they will be saved from the fire of Jahannam. But they don't want them to get that guidance. They don't want to reveal those bayyinat and clear proofs to anyone. The reference over here, who are these people who are hiding this? The Yahud, the Jews. They are doing this. Allah said, أُولَٰئِكَ يَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّاعِنُونَ. They are such who are cursed by Allah, and they are cursed by the curses. La'nat goes upon them. La'nat, la'ana yal'anu la'nan, literally translated as curse. What is the meaning of la'nat, curse? Curse means to distance someone from the rahmat and mercy of Allah. Al-ib'adu an rahmatillah. Rahmat is to show mercy. And you don't want Allah's rahmat to come on someone, so you curse them, you turn them away from Allah's rahmat. So Allah is saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself distances them from his mercy, and those who curse also turn them away from Allah's rahmat and mercy, that Allah's rahmat should not come to them. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ تَابُوا وَأَصْلَحُوا وَبَيَّنُوا فَأُولَٰئِكَ أَتُوبُ عَلَيْهِمْ وَأَنَا التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. Now over here, we need to understand a few things. Number one, the duty of is spreading Islamic knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put this duty on the learned scholars, ulama kiram, to spread their knowledge. Our deen is not a deen of kitman and hiding. We are not reserved. Other communities are reserved. They want to hide their book. They want to keep everything secret. They don't want anybody to read their kitab, read their Torah, read their book. But Deen Islam said, here is Quran, go read it. There is Hadith, read the Hadith Sharifa. Open your mind. We are open. We have nothing to hide. Our madrasas are open. Our darul are open. Come inside any minute, any time. See what we are doing. We are just teaching Quran and Hadith, and we are trying to guide people towards the straight path and make them better human beings, better citizens of this country. So, our deen is not of kitman, our deen is of i'lan, propagating. An alim's duty is to propagate and spread his knowledge. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in one hadith, Ala ukhbirukum bil ajwad. Shall I tell you who's the most generous? Al ajwadu Allah. The most generous is Allah. Wa ana ajwadu bani Adam. I am the greatest sakhi and generous among awladi Adam. وأجودهم من بعدي رجل علم علما فنشر علمه يبعث أمة وحده. And the most generous person, sakhi person after me is one who acquires some knowledge and then he teaches that knowledge and passes it on and spreads it. He will be resurrected on the day of Qiyamah as one ummah himself. He will have so many followers who will come with him that he will be like one ummah himself. So, an alim should spread his ilm, especially at times of fitna. He should spread his ilm more. إذا ظهرت البدع وسبت أصحابه فليظهر العالم علمه فمن لم يفعل فعليه لعنة الله الملائكة والناس أجمعين أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. When bid'at spread and my Sahaba are cursed by people, then an alim should spread his ilm and bring out the reality, tackle those fitnas, eradicate those fitnas. If he does not do that and he remains silent, then on that alim will be the la'nat of Allah and farishtas and wannasi ajma'in. Allah, huge responsibility upon the shoulders of ulama kiram. So ulama have that responsibility of spreading their ilm, tackling the fitnas with hikmat, with wisdom. Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal maw'izati al hasanati wajadilhum billati hiya ahsan. Invite with hikmat, with beautiful words, admonition. Even if you have to debate and argue, then debate with the most beautiful manner, beautiful words, softly, nicely. Even in your debate and munazara, don't be rude and don't use rude words. You be softly spoken and invite people. We don't have to be rude. We can be nice, gentle, and explain things to people. No fighting, no quarreling, no argument. But this is our belief. And this is not firqawariyat. Because when you're in the majority, then the offshoots are the firqas. They are the sects. We are not sect. We are the mainstream. So the mainstream ulama have to tackle the sects who are making their own sects and creating sectarianism. Fight that sectarianism and eradicate that and bring people towards haqq, the jadda sharia, the large and open, broad way of sharia. Invite people towards that broad way. قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة have basirat, insight, and invite people with basirat. If they come to you, ask for advice, explain to them in such a manner that they can understand. This is izharul ilm, revealing your ilm, bringing it out. The alim's duty is just to reveal. It is the duty of the general public and the listeners to accept. Alim is not responsible to force someone to accept his ilm. He is only responsible of revealing his ilm. It is up to the community to accept from him or reject him. Our duty is to say it. This is why when we see something going wrong, we have to speak up. And when we see something good, we have to, praise and commend it. Alhamdulillah, this is our duty. This is why Allah is saying, Inna alladhina yaktumuna ma anzalna min al-bayyinat. Sayyiduna Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is reported to have said, had there not been two verses of Quran wherein warnings are mentioned concerning hiding the truth, I would not have narrated a single hadith. But because of these warning, I sit down and I narrate a hadith. And then he recited these verses. Inna alladhina yaktumuna ma anzalna min al-bayyinat. That I fear if I don't narrate these hadiths, I will be included in that warning. On the day of Qiyamah, Allah will question me. What will I answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So Abu Hurairah used to sit in Masjid Nabawi Sharif and narrate a hadith. There were other Sahabas as well. But Abu Hurairah's main attachment was with narrating hadith. And Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu lived a long life. He lived until the year 59 after Hijrah. He died in 59 after Hijrah. And because he resided in Medina Sharif, people used to come from all over the world for Hajj and Umrah. So after doing Hajj Umrah in Makkah, they would visit Medina. And they would see Abu Hurairah there. And they would narrate hadiths from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. And this is how Abu Hurairah's hadith spread. There were other Sahaba like Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu, who had sahifa and a kitabcha in which he had written many hadith from Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But he used to reside in Taif. Nobody would go to Taif to study there. But Abu Hurairah is in Medina. People come to study here. And Abu Hurairah's hadith spread more than Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. So Sahaba radiallahu anhu spread their knowledge. Khulafai Rashidin spread their knowledge. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he used to tell people to study, to learn. He would say, Ta'allamu qabla an tusawwadu. Learn before you become a leader of your household, of your family. You have wife, kids, and then you have job and you have work to do, and then you can't study. So before that, learn as much as you can. He used to, praise the students who come to study. He used to say to Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, if you have any questions, ask me. Don't be shy. If you don't ask, I won't be able to tell you. If you ask me, then I will be able to explain it to you. So they used to reveal their ilm and knowledge. Sayyidina Muaz ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu was on his deathbed. And he said, whatever hadith I knew and there was benefit in there for you, I have narrated those hadiths to you. One hadith I had been concealing, but now I'm on my deathbed. I'm scared. I might have to answer before Allah on the day of Qiyamah. So I'm going to reveal it to you. And that is the hadith of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam with regards to the person who declares kalmah shahadat with yaqeen and iman that he will definitely go in Jannah. Sayyidina Muaz says, I was scared that somebody might rely on it and say, I've got kalma, I don't need to pray namaz, I don't need to do anything good, I don't need to behave, I can do whatever I want, I'm going to go Jannah anyway. Someone might take that wrong meaning. That's why I was not narrating this hadith. But now I'm on my deathbed. I'm scared that I could be included in this warning of Inna alladhina yaktumuna ma anzalna, and I could be sinful, and I don't want to be sinful. So I'm telling you this hadith as well. Man mata wa huwa ya'lamu annahu la ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah. So this was Sahaba's eagerness. They were really zealous to spread their ilm and knowledge and teach it to others. They would wait for someone to come and they could teach them. And this was our Akabir Mashayikh as well. Hazrat Mufti Mahmudul Hasan Sahib Gangohi, Rahmatullahi alayhi, used to say, if you get students of knowledge coming to you to study, then be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is because of those students that your knowledge is protected, preserved. If nobody came to study to you, your knowledge would be wasted. But they come, they study, be grateful to them. Receive them with both hands and teach them whatever you can and however much you can. So our mashayikh used to love the students, and they would impart and teach as much as they can. Many mashayikh in Deoband, they used to teach after Isha until midnight, 12 o'clock. Their sabak of Bukhari Sharif would be going on until 12 o'clock at night. Then the students would go and rest, and in the morning they're back in the class. Sheikh Yunus Sahab, Baba, he used to come at 10 o'clock and his lesson was only 1 hour, 11 o'clock. But Sheikh wouldn't stop at 1 hour, 11 o'clock, half 11, 12, half 12, 2.5 hours, musalsal, continuous, non-stop teaching, talking, teaching hadith, Bukhari Sharif. That's in the morning from 10 till 12:30. And in the afternoon, his lesson was 3 till 4. But Sheikh wouldn't stop at 4. Asr namaz would be at 5 o'clock. And he would keep teaching from 3 o'clock till 4, 4:15, 4:30, 4:45. He would stop at Asr Azan and people would rush towards the masjid, pray Asr, and then go to their rooms. So this was, their love for teaching, because of these statements of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam with regards to spreading the knowledge. One point. Number two, sometimes an alim is asked a question and he has the knowledge of it. Then some alim becomes stingy and they don't pass that knowledge on. There is wa'id for such a person. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith of Ibn Majah from Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, narrated by Tafsir Qurtubi, Man su'ila an ilmin fakatabahu, uljima yawm al-qiyamati bilijamin min nar. Whoever is asked about something, meaning of deen and religion, some ilm and knowledge, which he has, which he knows, but he conceals it, then Allah will put a rain of fire on his mouth on the day of judgment. A rain, lagam, like a horse is given that rain. A rain made from fire will be brought on his mouth, on his lips, because he concealed his lips at the time when speech was needed. And he hid that knowledge. He didn't reveal it to the person. So his punishment will be by putting a rain of fire on his face on the day of Qiyamah. May Allah protect us from this type of punishment and azab. So, if you have some knowledge and your brother is in need of it, then, pass it on to him. Sometimes, we have some notes and someone wants those notes. Now, if there is a reason that what happens is sometimes our notes are very short. Only I can understand what I've written. Sometimes our writings are like the doctor's prescription. Only the chemist can understand, nobody else can understand. And there is short notes, indications. So if the other person won't understand, then you say, but if it's clear and you have some knowledge, your friend is asking, then give it to him. Let him benefit from it. Don't refuse it. If you are asked some fatwa question and you can answer it, then give the answer. If you can't answer it, refer it to someone who would be able to answer that query and explain it to the person. So this is something about kitmane ilm and hiding some knowledge. Then Allah said, يَكْتُمُونَ مَا أَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْبَيِّنَاتِ وَالْهُدَى. They hide that which we have revealed from bayyinat and huda. This means that the warning is for hiding bayyinat and huda. Bayyinat is plural of bayyinatun, clear evidence and dalil of something. And huda is guidance. So, if something is not connected to some religious proof or evidence, or it's not connected to hidayat, guidance, it's something of worldly knowledge, right? Something to do with medicine or something to do with this and that or some other something, and they hide it, then this warning is not for them. Also, in the deen, there might be something which but if you tell that to the general public, then rather than hidayat, they might get dalalat and gumrahi. Sometimes they might misunderstand something and quote it wrong. So it won't be a source of hidayat for them. In that case, you'll have to hide it because it's not bayyina and it's not huda for them. Allama Shabir Ahmad Usmani rahmatullahi alayhi in Fathul Mulhim narrates over here that this is something like ahadithus sifat. Abu Yusuf rahmatullahi alayhi said that ahadith and nusus ayat of sifat bari ta'ala should not be discussed among general public because they won't understand it. Example, wasna'il fulka bi a'yunina, eyes of Allah, finger of Allah, walking of Allah, hands of Allah, istiwa al arsh of Allah, ascending the throne, nuzul every night on the earthly heaven, descending. These are called ahadithus sifat. So Abu Yusuf rahmatullah said, do not discuss these in general public because people won't understand it. For people, just say, read and move on. Do not go into the details of them. Ayat-e mutashabihat. Don't discuss them. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahmatullah ghaliban said that those ahadith in which there is khuruj ala al-umara wa salatin should not be discussed in public. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu said, I memorized knowledge which can be filled in 2 sacks. And 1 sack I have spread it out to you. The other sack, if I open it to you, then you would cut my throat. What is that other sack of knowledge? Number 1, he had lots of knowledge about Zalim Hukkam. And this is why he used to say, A'udhu billahi min ra'si sittin wa imarati sibyan. I seek Allah's refuge from 60 plus and from the leadership of childish people. This started after Hazrat Muawiyah died in the year 60, and his son Yazid ibn Muawiyah took the reign of Khilafat, and he started killing spree and murdering people, and he murdered Sayyidina Hussein ibn Ali karramallahu wajhahu, and he attacked the people of Medina and killed many people in and around Medina Sharif. So Abu Hurairah knew about this, where he heard these things from the Prophet ﷺ, but he didn't reveal it to people because there were names involved and he didn't want to name anyone and be blamed for that. So he said, these are some hadiths, they've got nothing to do with bayyinat and huda, so I'm not going to reveal them. Some ulama say these were some hadiths of tasawwuf, intricacies of the Sufiyana kalam and tazkiyah nafs and ma'rifat ilahiyya. So Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu hid them. Sayyidina Ali karramallahu wajhahu said, حدثوا الناس بما يعرفون أتحبون أن يكذب الله ورسوله. Talk to people with the things they can comprehend, they can understand. Would you like it that people call Allah and His Rasul liars? Na'uzubillah. Because if you tell them something which they don't understand, they're going to say Allah is lying, Rasulullah is lying. So don't relate that hadith to them. Sometimes you relate some hadith and then there's a question on it, and then you start giving the answers to that objection. People understand the question, but they don't understand the answer. And they say, no, 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 the answer is not clear. There's something wrong there. So why relate that hadith in the first place? You shouldn't have narrated that hadith. You know, Sheikh Abu Bakr al-Jazairi said, ليس كل حديث يجب نشره كما يتوهمه الأغمار. It's not wajib to spread every hadith like some nadan and naive people think. You should not spread every hadith to everyone. General public, they are busy in their day-to-day life. Don't confuse their minds. You know, sometimes we mistakenly narrate something and people get the wrong meaning as well. Once I was in Portugal and in the bayan, I was putting some emphasis on salat. And I mentioned some hadith. And in that I mentioned this hadith, Man sallal bardain dakhal al jannah. Whosoever prays the two cool namazas will go in Jannah. Huzur referred to Fajr and Asr because they are both cool namazas. In between is Zohar, which is hot namaz, because it's in the middle of midday and middle of the heat of the day. So Huzur Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Fajr is hard because you have to get out of your bed. Asr is hard because you're in your business, in your trade, at work. You have to leave that and go to the masjid and pray Asr. So if you have a habit of praying Fajr in the masjid, Asr in the masjid, that means you'll pray the other three as well and you'll go in Jannah. That's what the hadith means. But when I quoted this hadith later on, one Haji Sahib came up to me and said, Maulana Sahib, you shouldn't have said that hadith to people. I said, why? Because, you know, some people take the meaning from it that you don't need to pray five, two is enough. You go in Jannah, go Jannah anyway. So if you just pray Fajr and Asr, you're going to go Jannah. You can miss Zohar, you can miss Maghrib and Isha. I said, yeah, Baba, I never thought of that. I said, no, really, people were talking about this afterwards, that Yarum Sahib said that you can only pray two and you're all right. So people take wrong meanings. And I was innocently quoting that hadith. I didn't know that people are going to take wrong meanings. This is what Abdullah ibn Mas'ud also said. They say, كَلِّمُ النَّاسَ عَلَى قَدْرِ عُقُولِهِمْ. Talk to people according to their level of intelligence. If a person is intelligent, talk to him in that intelligent manner. If a person is not learned, then talk to him with simple examples by which he can understand. So this is kitman of bayyinat wal huda, and not that which is not bayyina and hidayat for someone. Also, there is great responsibility on the alim that he should first know fully well what he is saying, because an alim is the medium between khaliq and makhluq, and the rulings and fatwas and jurisdictions which he gives, you know, make things halal and haram. So he himself has to be really careful in these matters. And this is why many ulama, you know, they used to say, La a'lam. I don't know. I have to study, discuss. Go and ask someone else who knows. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu said, Inna min al-ilmi an taqula la a'lam lima la ta'lam. It is also part of ilm and knowledge that if you don't know something, you say, I don't know. Because Allah said, قُلْ مَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُتَكَلِّفِينَ. Say, O Muhammad, I am delivering this message to you. I don't want any money from you, any reward from you. And I am not of those who pretend, meaning who pretend to know something whereas he doesn't know. I only tell you what Allah teaches me. So an alim should only pass on that which he knows fully. He should not use conjecture, zan, and think that, oh, it could be like this, it could be like that. He should be concrete, firm. This is why when an alim says, I'm sorry, I don't know this masala, I have to research, people trust that alim more in comparison to the one who gives answer to every question. Can't be trusted. How can he know everything? Like Zakir Naik, he just goes on blah, 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 blah. answering everything, and he makes blunders. I don't know how people can take knowledge from people like him, who's not a hafiz, who's not an alim, who's memorized a few verses, verse number so and so, chapter number so and so. Don't be impressed by that. He's not hafiz of Quran. So you should have proper knowledge. You should be firm in your knowledge, and then you give the answers. So this is a duty of ulama kiram. Hazrat Mufti Shafi Sahab rahmatullahi alayhi mentioned this in Ma'arif al-Quran. Also, if an alim has given some fatwa or ruling, but then it appears that it was a mistake and he needs to do ruju from it, that he should not hesitate in retracting that statement. Our akabir mashayikh used to, say, it was my mistake. Hazrat Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi rahmatullah alayhi was at the forefront of this. If he said something, wrote something, and then later on the tahqiq changed, Hazrat would retract that statement. And if he was published in a journal or a magazine or newspaper, then he would publish this retract in the same manner, in the same journal or in the same newspaper. He would say, 2 months ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, we gave this fatwa, but now it appears that it's not like that. Reality is this. So this is the truth, and I thank the person who guided me towards it. So if you do make some mistake in some fatwa or ruling, don't be shy to take your words back and retract the statement. There's no harm in there. Everybody goes through these phases. We all make mistakes. We can't change things. We can take it back. However, don't hide it. Don't hide your retraction. If you do that, that means there's khiyanat. Because people would have known the first fatwa you published, but they won't know the second one, your ruju and your retracting. So the retraction should also be as widespread as the fatwa itself. So these are some adab with regards to giving out legal rulings and jurisdiction mentioned over here in Ma'arif al-Quran as well, and in Anwarul Bayan by Hazrat Mufti Ashiq Ilahi Saab Balan Shahri rahmatullahi alayhi. He also quotes some hadith over here from Sunan Darimi. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned, the person who is most bold to issue rulings and fatwas is most bold to enter the fire of Jahannam. Sunan Darimi, volume 1, page 53. Some people are really bold. They're not even muftis, and they give out fatwas. Mufat ki mufti. Not from fatwa, they're from mufat. Hazrat Maulana Bilal Sahib says this, Damat Barakatum Nafizum, that they haven't studied fatwa. Fatwa, one mufti is from fatwa who gives fatwas, and one mufti is from mufat. Without studying, mufat mein free mein mufti ban gaya and is giving out fatwas. So, if a person is bold in giving fatwas, shouldn't be bold. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi, such a great faqih. Even in many masail, he would say, I don't know. And many masail, he would think carefully, ponder, and then give answer. Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi, he would say, when I am walking, don't ask. Well, in fact, this is Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi. He said, when I am walking or going somewhere, then don't ask me masail. Wait, when I get to the place of dars, I sit down, I am composed, calm, thinking carefully, then ask me the question. If someone did ask him a question whilst he's walking and he did answer it, then later on he would go in to the majlis and then he would remember and say, oh, what was that question? Bring it up again. And then he would ponder, think carefully, and then give the ruling. Because when you're walking, you're rushing, you're in need for istinja or something, your mind is not there, all there. So you have to think carefully before you answer. So never be bold in giving out fatwas and rulings, as we understand from that hadith. Alhamdulillah, British people are nice people. They don't ask too many questions. Canadians ask too many questions. When I, went to Canada first time, Maulana Qasim Ingar Sahab said that, this will be your daily schedule. After Fajr, you can do Ta'lim, before Zuhar, after Zuhar days, after Taraweeh, you have to do Tafsir of Quran, and after Asr Namaz, Q&A, question answers. I said, Maulana Sahab, all the Nizam is okay, except for the after Asr Q&A. I don't like Q&A. Mufti Saeed Palanpuri Sahab does it, make a Mubarak, mashallah. Mufti Sahib is Mufti Sahib, he can do it. I'm not going to do Q&A. And I said, rather than Q&A, after Asr, I will do Ta'aleem from Fazail Quran and urge everyone to sit down with Quran Sharif and read Quran Sharif. Ramzan is a month of action, amal, deeds. So rather than sitting there and asking just stupid questions about mortgage, divorce, insurance, trying to make everything halal, then forget that. Just do something. Maybe perhaps we can keep question answer once a week. And for that as well, no direct questioning. You have to write questions, put it in a box. By Thursday, we will study it. I will write down the answers. And then Saturday night, those questions will be read and the answers will be given. But on the spot questioning, I don't agree with that. One Sahib said, no problem. So, Alhamdulillah, first day, I said, everybody must read Quran, Fasail Quran. Second day, third day, I said, nobody should have tasbih in their hands. Even if you don't know how to read Quran, just take Musaf in your hand and look at Musaf. But everybody should have Musaf in their hands. And mashallah, the whole masjid started reading Quran Sharif. And my friend Maulana Salim Chauhan Sahab said that, Maulana Sahab, आज हमें मुबारक काम की दो कोई कुरान नहीं पढ़ दो तो बड्ढा ने कुरान पढ़ा कर दिया. So question answers is not easy peasy, bhai. You might ask me a tricky question and I don't want to blurt out any answer without thinking carefully. So इमाम अबू हनीफा रहमतुल्लाह अलैह चलते फिरते क्वेश्चन का जवाब नहीं देते थे. मैं ये कह रहा, कनाडा में लोग चलते फिरते बहुत सवाल करते हैं. अभी तो हमने सलाम फिर अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाह पीछे से एक आदमी कूद के आया, शेख कैन आई आस्क अ क्वेश्चन. अल्लाह भाई अजूर सलाम फेंकूं कि तस्बीह तो पढ़ने दो. सुभान अल्लाह अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. Question, you can wait. Let me finish my tasbihat azkar. Let me finish my sunnat nawafil witr. You wait. Afterwards, when I come to the back, then you can ask me question. ये क्या है? सलाम फेरी शेख वन क्वेश्चन. और क्वेश्चन भी ऐसे ही उल्टा पुल्टा कोई काम का नहीं. कोई काम की बात हो, कोई अर्जेंसी हो तो समझ भी पड़े. और मैंने वहां पर कहा कि भाई कनाडा वाले सवाल बहुत पूछते हैं. हाफिज इब्न हजर अस्कलानी रहमतुल्लाह अलैह ने फतहुल बारी में एक जगह लिखा है जहां हदीस आई है, नहा रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अन क़ील व क़ाल व कसरतिस सुआल व इज़ाअतिल माल. रसूलुल्लाह ने मना किया. ही सेड दैट अन क़ील व क़ाल व कसरतिस सुआल व इज़ाअतिल माल. Don't go into gossip. So and so said this and so said that. Avoid that. And don't ask excessive questions. And don't waste your wealth. 3 advices. I said under Kathratu Su'al, Hafiz ibn Hajar has written that Kathratu Su'al is dalil of Fartul Jahl. Excessive questioning is a sign of excessive ignorance. If the person had studied, he would not have to feel the need to ask these questions. Question you ask about something that is important, that you don't know, and there's urgency of it, right? Otherwise, you should study. Read Behishti Zevar, read Behishti Samar Masail, books of Masail. Study yourself. Study Masail of Paki, Safai, Taharat, Wuzu, Namaz, Roza, Zakat, Hajj. There's books available. Go to some alim, stay in their company, learn from them, increase your ilm and knowledge. Don't just come on asking small, silly questions which every Muslim should know from first hand. So Hafiz ibn Hajar said that too much question is a sign of too much ignorance. So study, learn, and don't ask too many questions. Because an alim, can't be bold and answer every question. We have to think carefully. I mean, in Medina Masjid, I mentioned this before as well. We were going through questions. And I went through them and I made my notes on the paper's answer. And then I sat down with Maulana Khalil Sufi Sahab, the Buzurg. And I said, Hazrat, ये कुछ सवालात आए हैं, अगर आपके पास कुछ टाइम हो तो हम will just go over them. Hazrat said, okay, he was sitting in the office. There was only me and him. So I went through the questions and I listened to what he had to say. And then I told him what I had noted, and he might approve. And if there's anything additional, I will add that on there. So there was a question about smoking. And I said, our Mufti Shabir Sahib says smoking is haram. I think at that time, and the ulama of Arab also say smoking is haram. And if you go to Makkah, Medina, you have that, no entry sign and cigarette in the middle, and it's written underneath, وَيُحَرِّمُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْخَبَائِثِ. Khabith thing is haram, cigarette is khabith, don't smoke it. So I said cigarette is haram. And Maulana Sahab just stopped there for a moment. Said, Maulana Sahab, how can you say cigarette is haram? For classing something haram, you need nass qat'i. Like for faraz, you need nass qat'i. Direct command in Quran Sharif or Hadith Mutawatir that this is faraz, then it becomes faraz. Or this is haram, then it becomes haram. Like zina is haram, sharab is haram. She mentioned in Quran. Where is it in the Quran that cigarette is haram? There is no nass qat'i for it. The most you can say it is makruh because of the harms to the lungs and the heart and the teeth and whatever the medical experts say. So you can say it's makruh, but you can't class it haram. Thank you very much. You've opened a door of knowledge for me. That you can't class something haram until you have concrete proof and nasi qat'i. You can't class cigarette as haram just by your own qiyas and analogy and medical experts and whatever they have said. Some ulama might have said it is their research, but I like Maulana Khalil Sufi Saab's research more. So in fatwa bab, you have to be very, very careful. And the hadith said over here, if you become too bold on fatwa, then you are becoming too bold for Jahannam. May Allah protect us. Hazrat Mufti Ashiq Ilahi Sahib says over here, to comment on the Quran, to report a hadith, or to expound a ruling is indeed a very great responsibility. Muhammad ibn al-Munkadir rahmatullahi alayhi used to say, without doubt, the alim is the intermediary between Allah and his bondsman. So think well about discharging this responsibility. Sunan Darimi, volume 1, page 50. The effective method of discharging this responsibility is not to answer by mere estimation and to say nothing without possessing full knowledge about the subject. Should one have no knowledge concerning something, one should make it clear that one does not know. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever is given a ruling which was not based on proper knowledge or research, then the sin is upon the one who issued that ruling. Sunan Darimi, volume 1, page 53. Sunan Abi Dawud, volume 2, page 159. You understand that is? If you ask someone a mas'ala and he tells you a mas'ala which was not based on proper understanding of it, and he misled you, he misguided you, then the sin will go on the person who gave the wrong fatwa, not on you, because you are just a general public layman. You trusted the alim and you acted accordingly. So the sin won't be upon you, it will be on him. It happens like this. Right? Once a revert came here in Jamaat, and I used to do tafsir in Ashrafia Masjid that year in Ramadan, and he was in Jamaat over there. So after tafsir at night, Taraweeh, we were sitting, and he said, I am a revert from the USA, and I was with the Salafi people, and they told me that you can't do masa on thin cotton socks. And I've been doing masa and praying namaz like this for the last 5 years. And you said in your bayan today that thin socks, you can't do masa on them. They have to be either leather socks or a material which is waterproof, which brings it closer to the leather. So what about my 5 years namaz? I said, my friend, I'll have to ask my Ustad, Mufti Shabbir Sahab, and I'll let you know. So I phoned Mufti Sahab and I said, this is new Muslim Mufti Sahab, and he's saying this. How should I answer him? And Mufti Sahab quoted this hadith. Tell him that you are a revert. You didn't have knowledge, and you referred to someone who you thought is a scholar, and you asked him, and they gave you that fatwa. So they made the mistake. They will be questioned on the day of Qiyamah. And he was asking, do I have to repeat my 5 years namaz? So Hazrat Mufti Sahib said, tell him, no, he doesn't need to repeat the 5 year namaz. Because he acted based on a fatwa. The fatwa was wrong. The guna will go on the one who gave him the wrong fatwa, but he doesn't have to repeat his 5 years namaz. But from now on, don't do masa on the thin cotton socks. And believe me, in Arbastan, everybody does masa on cotton thin socks. And whole sin will go on Albani and the likes, because they are the ones who started this in the Arabian lands. I've seen policemen, right, in Medina Sharif at the checkpoint, right? It's so hot, it's Asr Nawaz time, and they're wearing their shoes and them thin black socks from which you can see the skin as well. They're like them, tight leggings which ladies wear. So you can see the skin of the foot as well. That's how thin they are. And he's doing wuzu. He washed his face and hands and did masa on the head, and took his shoes off and and is going there to pray namaz. I said, Ya Allah, what type of masla is this? So, if a person makes, now remember, in this masla there's ijma of all four imams, Abu Hanifa, Shafi, Malik, Ahmad. They all say that masah is not jaiz on thin cotton socks which let the water seep through. The ikhtilaf, difference of opinion, is about sakhinain, the thick ones. Right? Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi said, even if they are of thick material, you shouldn't do masi on them unless they are khuffain, leather, or something like leather, like rexin. But the others said that if the thick material is thick, you can do masa on there. Sahibain also said that. And Imam Abu Hanifa's ruju is mentioned towards the end of his life in this mas'ala. So his ruju is not about the thin cotton socks, it's about the thick material. But people, deceive others by saying that he did ruju about the thin. About thin, Hazrat Allama Yusuf bin Nuri rahmatullah alayhi has narrated in معارف السنن شرح الترمذي that أجمع الأئمة الأربعة على أنه لا يجوز المسح على الرقيقين وإنما اختلفوا في السخينين. They said the أئمة الأربعة إجماع is that the thin material can't do masa on them, but the whole Arabian land, everybody is doing it. नमाज सब की खराब हो रही है. अल्लाह समझ दे सबको. Anyway, masala is, if someone gives out a wrong ruling, then the guna will go on that person who gave that wrong judgment and ruling. This is why you have to be really, really careful, right, in masail. Anyway, some adab mentioned over here about fatwa and giving rulings under this ayat, Innal ladhina yaktumuna ma anzalna min al bayyinat. We covered them, and we move on. So if people hide, now hide ma anzalna min al bayyinati wal huda, whatever we have revealed with regards to bayyinat and huda. Hazrat said, Allama Shabir Ahmad Usmani rahmatullahi alayhi, They hide of Tawrat and Injil. ما أنزلنا من البينات والهدى من بعد ما بيناه للناس في الكتاب. في الكتاب refers to Tawrat and Injil. It's in its generic sense. أولئك يلعنهم الله ويلعنهم اللاعنون. Allah curses them for concealing haqq and truth and bayinat and huda, and the curses also curse them. Who are they? Hazrat writes, from among the angels, men, and jinns. He writes, all such, meaning men, angels, and jinns, abhor and detest evil. The Christian conception of curse is singularly amusing, if not actually blasphemous. The non observance of the law, St. Paul teaches, puts men under a curse. From this curse, Christ redeems them by becoming himself a curse on their behalf. Toba, 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 astaghfirullah. The proof that Christ did become a curse is given in the form of a reference to the crucifixion. It is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on the tree. In his death on the cross, he was identified under God's dispensation with the doom of sin. He became cursed for us, and it is on this our redemption depends. DB chapter 1, page 535. For the use of curses in the Old Testament and the New Testament, see page volume P, volume 1, page 389. This is from Tafsir Majidi. Ulaika yal'anuhumullah, those who conceal hidayat, then la'nat goes upon them, and وَيَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّاعِنُونَ, and every curser curses them. This includes men, malaika, jinns, and the other creations. Because when evil thrives, it affects everyone. It affects human beings, malaika, jinns, animals, birds, fishes, to the extent that the mountains and rocks and stones, because when evil is thriving, Allah's azab and punishment comes. And the punishment affects everyone. This is why Allah said, ظَهَرَ الْفَسَادُ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِي النَّاسِ لِيُذِيقَهُمْ بَعْضَ الَّذِي عَمِلُوا لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. This is why Allah said, أُولَٰئِكَ يَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّاعِنُونَ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ تَابُوا وَأَصْلَحُوا وَبَيَّنُوا. Except those who do tawbah and who make amends, meaning who start revealing everything after they had been hiding it. This is making amends. And wabayyanu, and they clarify everything and explain and expose everything. And فَأُولَٰئِكَ أَتُوبُ عَلَيْهِمْ, Allah said, I will turn to them, and I am the oft-turning and most merciful. Maybe the reference is towards the like of Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Salam radiyallahu anhu, who was a Yahudi, a rabbi and son of a rabbi. He embraced Islam, he did tawbah from his previous kitman, and he revealed everything about Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whatever he could. So Allah is saying, such people, even if you do tawbah now, Allah is ready to forgive you and accept your tawbah, because He is at-Tawwabur Rahim. And then إن الذين كفروا وماتوا وهم كفار أولئك عليهم لعنة الله والملائكة والناس أجمعين خالدين فيها لا يخفف عنهم العذاب ولا هم ينظرون. There is a little bit discussion about la'nat over here, upon whom it's allowed, who is not allowed. We'll cover that in the next lesson, inshallah. ठीक है? अच्छा भाई, next lesson तो फिर जनवरी में होगा, next year inshallah. Because inshallah next week we'll be going for Umrah. So 2 Tuesdays will not be here. By the time 2022 will finish, see you next year inshallah. 2023, if Allah brings us back safe and well, we'll continue from where we left inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. सल्लल्लाहु वसल्लम अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व आलिहि वसहबिहि अजमईन बिरहमतिका या अरहमर राहिमीन सुब्हानकल्लाहुम्मा व बिहम्दिक नशहदु अन ला इलाहा इल्ला अंत नस्तगफिरुका व नतूबु इलैक अल्लाहुम्मा अन्फअना बिमा अल्लमतना व अल्लिमना मा यनफअुना व ज़िदना इल्मा अल्लाहुम्मा इन्ना नसअलुका इल्मन नाफ़िअ व अमलन सालिहा व रिज़्क़न वासिअ व शिफ़ाअन मिन कुल्लि दा अल्लाहुम्मा अग़निना बिल इल्म व ज़य्यिन्ना बिल हिल्म व अकरिमना बित तक़वा व जम्मिलना बिल आफ़िया अल्लाहुम्मा नव्विर क़ुलूबना बिल क़ुरआन व ज़य्यिन अख़लाक़ना बिल क़ुरआन व नज्जिना मिनन नार बिल क़ुरआन व अदख़िलना अल जन्नत बिशफ़ाअतिल क़ुरआन अल्लाहुम्मा ज़क्किरना मिन्हु मा नसीना व अल्लिमना मिन्हु मा जहिलना वरज़ुक़ना तिलावतहु आना अल-लैलि व अतराफ़ अन-नहार वजअलहु लना हुज्जतन या रब्बल आलमीन अल्लाहुम्मा फ़क़्क़िहना फ़िद्दीन व अल्लिमना तफ़सीर व तअवील या अरहमर राहिमीन। महज़ अपने फ़ज़ल व करम से हम सब की मग़फ़िरत फरमा दीजिए, पूरी उम्मत की मग़फ़िरत फरमा दीजिए, हमारे तमाम मरहूमीन की मग़फ़िरत फरमा दीजिए। हमारे पड़ोस में हाफ़िज़ सुहेल अच्छा बेचारा 42 साल का जवान एकदम अचानक हार्ट अटैक दिल के दौरे से इंतकाल कर गया, उसकी मग़फ़िरत फरमा दीजिए, दर्जे बुलंद फरमाइए, बेचारे की फैमिली को सब्र जमील अता फरमाइए, सबके क़ुलूब पर सब्र और सकीना नाज़िल फरमाइए। हमें भी या अल्लाह मरने से पहले मरने के लिए रेडी रहने की तौफ़ीक अता फरमाइए। अल्लाह पूरी उम्मत की तमाम मरहूमीन की मग़फ़िरत फरमाइए। हमारे दोस्त मौलाना आलम हुसैन या अल्लाह पोर्ट्समouth में इंतकाल कर गए, बेचारे काफ़ी मुद्दत कैंसर की तकलीफ में रहे, या अल्लाह उनकी मग़फ़िरत फरमाइए, उनके दर्जात बुलंद फरमाइए, जनाजे के मराहिल उनके लिए आसान फरमाइए और या अल्लाह उनके दर्जात बुलंद फरमाइए। पीछे उनकी फैमिली को, उनके बच्चों को, उनके दोस्तों को, सबको सब्र जमील अता फरमाइए। परवरदिगार आलम हमारी टूटी फूटी दुआएं सुन लीजिए, हम सबको दुनिया और आखिरत की हर खैर अता फरमाइए, हर शर से हिफाजत फरमाइए। रब्बना तक़ब्बल मिन्ना इन्नका अंतस समीउल अलीम व तुब अलैना इन्नका अंतत तव्वाबुर रहीम। सल्लल्लाहु व सल्लिम अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व आलिहि व सहबिहि अजमईन बिरहमतिका या अरहमर राहिमीन।